If you follow true crime, you've no doubt heard of the Mica Francis John Paul Miller case. Per the family's wishes, I will not be using John Paul's last name for Mica, but instead will use her maiden name, Francis. I'm starting my coverage of this case with introducing you to some other people that are in John Paul Miller's periphery, just to get to know his circle a little better. Today, we're starting with Charles Randall. Charles, I don't beat my wife Randall, was born July 4th, 1951, to James T. and Ollie Mae Bellamy Randall in Little River, South Carolina. Little River, South Carolina had a population of 11,711 in 2020, but had dwindled to 9,815 in 2022. I would guess that COVID had a lot to do with the rapid loss of people. Little River is located on the North Carolina border and is in the same county as Myrtle Beach. According to Wikipedia, the area is mainly made up of housing developments, old scrub pine forest, marshes, and swamps, and is bordered by the Waccamaw River and the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. Charles married Doretha in 1974, and the couple have 2 daughters. Maybe I should explain why I gave Charles his nickname. When he ran for South Carolina House of Representatives in 2012, there was a bio page about Charles, and he felt the need to point out that there was never any physical or verbal abuse between he and his wife. So the bio states, talking about Charles and Doretha, in 38 years, there has never been one instance of physical or mental abuse between them. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never felt the need to introduce myself and then go on to explain that I've never killed anyone with a baseball bat. But maybe that's just me. Charles also ran for the House of Representatives in 2004, 2006, and 2010. He did not win any of the elections. Charles was in the Air Force from 1970 to 1991. He received an Associates of Arts degree from the Air Force Academy in 1989. He then went on to get a Master's of Theology in 1998 and a Doctorate of Christian Education in 2004 from Cathedral Bible College. You might wonder how he jumped from an associate's degree to a master's degree without bothering with a bachelor's, but it might be because Cathedral Bible College was owned by Reginald Wayne Miller, who is John Paul Miller's father. Now, he still owns the college, but he has changed the name again, and we'll get to that when I go into all that is Reginald Wayne Miller, which is a lot. So, the college has never been accredited, so the degrees are for decoration and so you can go around and call yourself a doctor. Charles also taught at Grand Strand Christian Academy, which was operated by Wayne Miller in the mid to late 90s. Charles was the dean of Cathedral Bible College from 2004 until at least 2012, and I'm wondering if he was there when all the poop with Wayne Miller went down, which was 2014-2015. I don't know if that's the case or not. So, Charles is a registered agent on several LLCs and nonprofits. So the ones I know for sure are him is Grace Restoration Pentecostal Association of Churches International, the House of Prayer in Loris, St. Delight Association of Independent Ministries Incorporated, 777 LLC, and St. Delight Community Outreach of St. Delight Community Outreach of Horry County. He's also the registered agent on his church, for some reason I didn't put it on here, but it's the St. Delight Pentecostal Church. He is also possibly, so those are all registered, and I know they're his because of either his middle initial or the address or both. But he's also possibly the registered agent for 3 others, which are just in a Charles Randall, and they have random addresses. So the first is Bread of Life Ministries, and then Empowering the Total You and Handicap Ministries of Georgetown. These are all in Georgetown, South Carolina. Bread of Life has a Charles Randall as the registered agent, and it has an address of 88 Juniper Place in Georgetown. That property is owned by someone who lives elsewhere in South Carolina, so possibly a rental. Empowering the Total U has an address of 1207 Montford Road, and that's not an actual address. The Handicap Ministries of Georgetown has an address of 61 Washington Hill Drive, and the owners live in North Carolina. So that seems to be a lot. Also, Charles and his wife own at least 11 properties between the two, including the church, with a combined market value of over $1.5 million. Now, I have some images up, and the prices on those are just the taxable value, not the market value, which is always a lot more. So I am wondering, how does a pastor at a small Pentecostal church in a small town in South Carolina have that much property? So Charles also paid property tax on 7 vehicles in 2023. Doretha paid for 1 vehicle, and his church paid property tax on 2 vehicles. So between the two of them and the church, there's 10 vehicles, which is a lot. And I thought, well, maybe he, had vehicles for his grown daughters, but they both have cars registered to them. So I don't know why he has so many vehicles. Charles's election website states that, quote, he is a man of the highest ethical and moral standards and will serve well. He has 19 traffic violations and 1 criminal littering charge from 1989 to 2023. That seems like a lot, and he did not listen to Woodsy Owl, and he did not give a hoot. Now I know it's just traffic violations, but there is a running theme with John Paul and his cohorts about traffic violations. And I think maybe it could come from an attitude of being above the law. I mean, in that same time period, I have had 1 ticket. 1. So, anyway, while researching Charles, I came across this paternity child support filing, and it happened in Horry County, and it is a Charles J. Randall, but I have not been able to verify if it is Pastor Charles Randall or if it just happens to be another Charles J. Randall in Horry County that has not shown up on any other documents that I've looked at. On May 4th, the Christian Post interviewed Charles, I don't beat my wife, Randall, regarding Mica's death. And the following is an excerpt from that article. Quote, the Reverend Charles Randall, Pastor Miller's spiritual advisor and mentor, told Christian Post that, basically, social media is very wicked in saying things and lying about the situation, things that they are not aware of. He said he has known Miller for a long time and was one of his teachers in high school. He also said he had been counseling Mica and Pastor Miller since September 2023 and was not aware of any abuse. He acknowledged that there was a little bump in the road during efforts to restore their marriage, but did not disclose what that bump was. I live by the Holy Spirit of God. If God would lead me to remove him, I will do that. It has not happened at this time. As far as abuse, they are lying about that. There was no abuse, Randall told Christian Post. As far as working with him, I've been working closely with them since last September on their marriage. They did have a little bump in the road, no abuse, and he was working on that. The marriage was in the process of being restored. Randall said he was with Pastor Miller the night he got the call about his wife's death, and despite what people thought about his preaching last Sunday, he was, quote, tore up. He was very tore up when we got the news. I was with him on Saturday night when he received the news. Very, 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 very tore up over it, because he loved his wife very much. If the naysayers would tell the truth, they would know how much he did and tried to please his wife, Randall said. The same people that are lying and saying he mistreated his wife, even the family members, he offered to pay for every family member to travel from wherever they are, wherever they live, to bring them here, pay for their accommodations, and take care of them to honor his wife during this time. And they are in the streets, some of them, I believe, lying about what he is doing, he added. Randall said rumors online that the pastor has already started dating are not true. We've learned since then that John Paul's ex-wife Allison alleged in an affidavit that John Paul had been dating Susie Skinner since before Susie's husband's death in 2021. So, Charles, I don't beat my wife Randall, has either been completely snowed by J.P. Miller or his pants should be on fire. I think it's telling that he has to say in that article that multiple times there was no abuse. Like, it's not just one. Like, he has to pound it in, and that JP was very, 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 very tore up. It's just a little too much protesting. Charles has been seen at the church and at JP's house since Mica's death. They seem to be close. In a sermon dated October 3rd, 2021, John Paul Miller is talking about Charles Randall and explains that he is a father figure to him and that Charles is with him in spirit every time he preaches. He goes on to talk about Charles telling him that he's proud of him. It is the only time I have seen JP where he appears to be genuinely emotional. On an end note, Charles James Randall has not been arrested, nor has he been named as an interested party in any ongoing investigation. He is innocent until proven guilty. Thank you so much for listening and looking at all of these documents, and I will have a video up next on Troy. Look at my goatee, Taylor. Until next time, stay safe, be happy.